And again, I'm still very confused by the fact that in all of these previous timelines, Madoka is already a magical girl by the time she goes to school. Unless she's leaving the hospital earlier in later timelines. Hey everybody, welcome back to Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back with another episode of Madoka Magica. We are on episode 10 today. But of course, got notes on the board about episode 9. So let's go ahead and bring up the board. Alright, and with the board comes the board changelog. I connected Madoka to Kyokyo with a green line because they have officially formed that friendship, or they did. I changed the green line connecting Kyobi to Madoka red because obviously it seems like Kyobi's given the game away, even though, again, I still think they're lying. That whole line about if you want to sacrifice yourself for the universe, let me know, kind of feels antagonistic. I added a purple arrow from Kyokyo to Sayaka. I really felt that was implied by the episode, more so by the end credits, or specifically the end credit image, right? And of course, I marked Kyokyo and Sayaka as dead, which is why I gave past tense to the first line. I thought maybe I'd added something to the life tree. I don't know. What the hell am I saying? Life cycle. Sorry. I thought I had added something to the life cycle, but I clearly did not. It is as true now as it was last time that I brought it up. That said, though, I do come with notes. You know, potentially the one thing Sayaka wasn't completely wrong about was the element of making a wish for someone else. Kamujo got his hands back, regardless of what happened to Sayaka. Like, maybe the karma of the wish caused Hitomi to possibly fall in love with him, but at the end of the day, that's still outside the direct influence of her. If Sayaka had done the expected thing and made a wish for herself, then the benefit of that would have been lost when she became a magical girl and trapped in the cycle of magical girl and witch. As it stands, she became a witch and still managed to do something good with her sacrifice. I mean, of course, that still doesn't balance out the murders that she did, but it's closer to it than otherwise. I've analyzed the opening any number of times now, and I've been saying that it's essentially just not true, visually. But an aspect I think I may have missed that it was just a dream. Madoka dreaming about what it would be like to be a magical girl, and how embarrassing the mistakes she'd make with her friends would be. Because otherwise, I don't think there's much context for everything that seems wrong. I mean, I have also stated the possibility that there is a good ending, and maybe the opening is portending a good ending, but it just doesn't seem like the track that we're currently on. I still believe Kyobi to be lying. The explanation for why he or they are doing what they are doing is so far-fetched, or at least to the premise of the show, that it makes much more sense that he'd be making something up that would confuse Madoka. Confusing thing, though, for me, is that during it, I feel like the camera pans to a bunch of chairs in a room, and I think back to Kamujo's hospital room, where I mentioned that it was filled with chairs before. If that was what we are seeing, why during that speech? Anyways, Kyobi says that deception is incomprehensible, but has been lying and omitting the truth all show. That's deception. So, in the middle of what I already consider to be a lie, he lies about lying. This really is Magical Girl Gurren Lagann. because I feel like the bad guy's entire goal right now is to inflict ultimate despair upon us. The only point behind letting Kyoko try to attempt to save Sayaka is to give her hope that she could succeed, knowing that there is none, so that she could feel the loss as well. I know Hyobi later says that his intent was to take her out, but I'd have to think he'd hope that in her despair, she'd become a familiar or a witch herself. Another super confusing thing, I took the classroom board to a translator, and it's work on defining a Fibonacci sequence. Fair enough, but on the right-hand side, and this may be entirely translation error, in front of the girl at the board is a line that's interpreted as saying, and mind you, it gets cut off at the very beginning, so +2 plus y plus 2 equals parentheses x plus 1 plus mammy plus 1 parentheses plus makama. Sorry, maka. All I can think, if it's not error, is how it may fit into the witch's multiplication, whatever that may mean. Because again, I still don't know actually the context of witch's multiplication, but that mammy would just show up on the board there. And again, looking at it without the translation, I don't see where mammy would even be on the board. But if that is translation error, that is crazy translation error for it to include 4 random letters that would spell out the name of a character from the show. And not only that, capitalize the first letter as a proper noun. And my last note here, I still wonder if Madoka is somehow the Walpurgis. Hyobi suggests that she will become the greatest of the magical girls, and then the most terrible of witches. If the Walpurgis is the motherlode of all witches, then it could be possible that everything has just been a countdown to Madoka making a wish and being corrupted. That said, though, those are all of my thoughts going into this episode, so I said there's nothing left to do but to go ahead and hop on in and see what we get.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
What? Okay. This must be the first time loop. Some Christian school, right? Didn't Madoka make her first wish on Akemi? And that was the thing? I mean, obviously I understand the storyline that we're going for is like Madoka was Akemi's first friend. Yeah, earlier Madoka had a lot more energy. By earlier Madoka, I don't mean first time loop Madoka, I mean earlier show Madoka.
ちゃんもかっこよくなっちゃえばいいんだよ。
It really does show like posture and how you carry yourself and everything really does change how you look. You know, the Superman Clark Kent thing.
君は休学してたんだっけな。友達からノートを借りておくように。
準備体操だけで貧血ってやばいよね。半年もずっと寝てたんじゃ仕方ないんじゃない？
It just goes to show you how far she's come.
無理だよ。私何にもできない。
Or did she use her wish on herself?
恥かいて。どうしてなの？私これからもずっとこのままなの。だったらいっそ死んだ方がいいよね。死んだ方がいいかな。
Witch's Labyrinth.
死んじゃえばいいんだよ。死んでしまえば。
Sounds a lot like the wish that almost took Hitomi out.
どこなの？ここ。
Still can't read that language. Doesn't mean anything to me. That was going to be Mammy, but that looks like a bow. Mammy doesn't use a bow.
間一髪ってところね。もう大丈夫だよ。トムラちゃん。あなたたちは彼女たちは
Already a
魔法
witch.
少女
I mean,
魔女を
magical
取る
girl.
者たちさ。いきなり秘密がバレちゃったね。
Okay, so Madoka uses a bow.
内緒だよ。
I'm just thinking, how did you become a magical girl this early?
いつもって、そりゃマミさんはベテランだけど、私なんて先週
I guess technically Akemi doesn't show up in the first episode till later.
戦い方、以前よりずっと上手かったわよ、かなめさん。平気なんですか？怖くないんですか？平気ってことはないし、怖かったりもするけれど、魔女をやっつければそれだけ大勢の人が助かるわけだし、やりがいはあるよね。
Yeah, because this version of these two wouldn't know about the soul gem and the witches and things like that.
一人前になっておいてもらわないとね。
Mammy knew about the Walpurgis.
じゃあ行ってくるね。そんな、ともえさん死んじゃったのに。だからだよ。
I guess there's just no world in which Mammy
止
survives.
められるのは私だけしかいないから。無理よ。一人だけであんなのに勝てっこない。カナメさんまで死んじゃうよ。それでも私は魔法少女だから。みんなのこと守らなきゃいけないから。ねえ、逃げようよ。だって仕方ないよ。
I guess also implying that I was wrong about my note that Madoka would be the Walpurgis.
ホムラちゃん、私ね、あなたと友達になれて
She
嬉しか
can't
った。
also be here and be the Walpurgis at the same
あなたが魔女
time.
に襲われた時間に合って今でもそれが自慢なの。だから魔法少女になって本当に良かったって。
He's certainly a much more confident Madoka.
さよなら、ホムラちゃん。元気でね。どうして死んじゃうって分かってたのに、私なんか助けるよりもあなたに。
I mean, it's not such a brutal death.
その言葉は本当かい？明美ホムラ、君のその祈りのために魂をかけられるかい？戦いの定めを受け入れてまで叶えたい望みがあるなら、僕が力になってあげられるよ。
Also, the element that Kyobi doesn't travel through time either.
そうとも君にはその資格がありそう
So
だ
this version of Kyobi
教えてごらん君は
ends
どんな
basically
思い
when
で
the time
ソウ
travel
ルジェムを
starts.
輝かせるのかい私は私は要さんとの出会いをやり直したい彼女に守られる私じゃなくて彼女を守る私になりたい
Kind of mirroring the, her heart. I'm sorry, I thought her heart condition was coming in.
契約は成立だ
There was a question, though, that was
エ
asked
ントロピーを凌駕した
in the timeline that we've been living through.
その新しい力を
I guess there's also the oddity that they can grant a wish for time travel, give somebody the ability to affect time, but they themselves have no power over time.
私まだ退院してない夢じゃない
What does the medical equipment say about your body that's no longer a living body?
明美穂村ですよろしくお願いします明美さんは心臓の病気でずっと要さん私も魔法少女になったんだよこれから一緒に頑張ろうね
Yeah, I mean,
それじゃ
clearly first go through Akemi doesn't understand.
What? どう思うマミさん時間停止ね確かにすごいけれど使い方が問題よね
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. This is everything I said before. That she's been doing the loop for a long time. Though not exactly sure how she, goes back again if her power is only pausing time and not rewinding it. And again, I'm still very confused by the fact that in all of these previous timelines, Madoka is already a magical girl by the time she goes to school. Unless she's leaving the hospital earlier in later timelines. I guess it's also obvious that, things don't follow the same route every time either. Because otherwise, how would Mammy have died that way? Oh, Mammy died that way because Madoka wasn't a magical girl like she is this time around. Is it that she becomes a second Walpurgis?
伝えなきゃみんなキューベイに騙されてる あのさ、キューベイがそんな嘘ついて一体何の得があるわけ？それは私たちに妙なこと吹き込んで仲間割れでもさせたいの？
Okay, in this alternate reality,
本当はあの京子とかいうやつと
Saka becomes one too?
違うわ。さやかちゃん、それこそ仲間割れだよ。どっちにしろ私この子とチーム組むの反対だわ。まどかやマミさんは飛び道具だから平気だろうけど、いきなり目の前で爆発とかちょっと勘弁してほしいんだよね。
Classic.
なったことか。
I mean, classic like D&D, old school D&D stuff.
武器ってないのかしら。ちょっと考えてみます。
Is it that she's like in a loop? That every time she fails, she goes back in time? Because again, it's not the element that her own power allows her to go back. Oh, there we go, Sayaka. 'So Sayaka just always falls to despair.
ごめん、ミキさん。さやか、畜生、こんなことってひどいよ。
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically we just gotta keep doing this over and over again until Akemi just, like, stops giving a shit.
ともえさん、ソウルジェムが魔女を生むならみんな死ぬしかないじゃない。あなたも
That's an interpretation, sure.
嫌だ。もう嫌だよ。
I appreciate that we are at least seeing that she has tried a lot.
大丈夫だよ。二人で頑張ろう。一緒にワルプルギスの夜を倒そう。
I mean, obviously, yeah.
私たちももうおしまいだね。
I guess I was just really fucking right about the Groundhog's Day thing. Just, instead of one day, we get to this moment.
ねえ、私たちこのまま二人で怪物になってこんな世界何もかもめちゃくちゃにしちゃおうか。嫌なことも悲しいことも全部なかったことにしちゃえるくらい壊して壊して壊しまくってさ。それはそれでいいと思わない？
Because Madoka sacrifices for people.
一個だけ取っておいたんだ。そんな、なんで私にはできなくて、ホムラちゃんにできることお願いしたいから。ホムラちゃん、過去に戻れるんだよね。
Is it her power, or is it just the wish?
歴史を変えられるって言ってたよね。うん。ゆうべに騙される前のバカな私を助けてあげてくれないかな。
I guess technically she asked.
絶対にあなたを救ってみせる。何度繰り返すことになっても必ずあなたを守ってみせる。よかった。もう一つ頼んでいい？私魔女にはなりたくない。嫌なことも
Yeah, so she really wasn't in on that thing that you were saying a second ago.
たくさんこの世界にはあったから。まどかモモラちゃん、やっと名前で呼んでくれたね。嬉しい。
Jesus Christ. I guess in fairness sake, she's probably only shooting the soul gem, not the person. Because that wouldn't...
誰も未来を信じない。誰も未来を受け止められない。だったら私は。誰？まどか。あなたに奇跡を約束して取り入ろうとするものが現れた。
Okay, we're still not to the present time loop.
言いなりになってはダメ。
This is clearly still another one of the failed loops.
もう誰にも頼らない。
That's what Sayaka thought. That didn't work.
もうまどかには戦わせない。
Also, are you still stealing from the same Yakuza
私
group?
一人で片付ける。
Or are you taking this with time with you?
そして今度こそワルプルギスの夜、この手で。
Yeah, I guess in the non-Madoka Magical Girl timeline, Mamie must always then die. Considering she's not here.
仕方ないよ。彼女一人では荷が重すぎた。
Okay, this is episode 1. Yep, exact same pose she took in episode 1. She didn't hear that the first time.
諦めたらそれまでだ。でも君なら運命を変えられる。
Hey, that's the thing I think I used during the discussion stuff.
そのための力が君に備わっているんだから。本当なの？騙されないで。そいつの思うつぼよ。私なんかでも本当に何かできるの？こんな結末を変えられるの？もちろんさ。だから僕と契約して。
I mean, worst yet,
魔法少女になってよ。
if she did, this would be a Madoka that would have no training or anything going into it, like the previous versions.
本当にものすごかったね。変身したまどかは。彼女なら最強の魔法少女になるだろうと予測していたけれど、まさかあのワルプルギスの夜を一撃で倒すとはね。
Why didn't past versions of her be able to do that?
見越した上だったの。遅かれ早かれ結末は一緒だよ。彼女は最強の魔法少女として最大の敵を倒してしまったんだ。もちろんあとは最悪の魔女になるしかない。今のまどかならおそらく10日かそこいらでこの星を壊滅させてしまうんじゃないかな。まあ、あとは君たち人類の問題だ。僕らのエネルギー回収ノルマはおおむね達成できたし。
Well, I guess maybe he wasn't lying about that part.
戦わないのかい？いいえ。私の戦場はここじゃない。明美ホムラ、君は。繰り返す。
I guess this leads into a Madoka Magica multiverse?
同じ時間を何度も巡り、たった一つの出口を探る。あなたも絶望の運命から救い出す道を。
I mean, it does imply that Kyobi was lying about the whole good for humanity in the future thing, considering it was all about the energy.
まどか。
and then ultimately didn't care if humanity died.
小村ちゃん。あなたのためなら私は永遠の迷路に閉じ込められても構わない。
Kind of turning into an Eobard Thrawn. So I'm confused. This is the opening, right? I was like, this is the opening 22 minutes in. I'm confused why we didn't do an ending, unless I'm supposed to take something away from this. I guess the only element that I can't take anything away from is the element that I thought this from episode 1. Right? I've been saying she's been Groundhog's Day, or she's got the power to rewind time, or I guess that finally getting shown that element is, I mean, it's cool. I really like this episode. So far, if I had to, like, list a top episode from Madoka Magica, it would be this one. And, you know, not just from the element that everything I said turned out to be right. I really like seeing the Groundhog's Day backstory that Akemi has gone through. And I especially love them showing us who she really was before versus who she's turned into. Because the element of her not being that person to begin with is really good. Oh, everyone's on the tower now. I don't know what to think about the element that everybody was on the tower. If not, I don't know, actually. I just don't know what to think about that. Because I've always said that was false. The element that it used to just be Mami and Sayaka on there. And I guess, here's the thing. There was an element that I was already guessing that Sayaka was going to die, but that was not based on the opening. That was based on the ending, the original ending credits, which had Madoka like shadows walking past her friends who were also shadows, and essentially leaving them behind. And Sayaka was one of those shadows, but also there was a Kemi who was like reaching out for her, which, you know, the only one that was moving. I don't know. I do not know. Obviously, this also, I guess, implied to be an infinite number of Kyobis across the planet, because Akemi has already tried the hunt them down and kill them method. And current, or present, Kyobi, implies that there's like an infinite number of them anyway, so it doesn't matter. I don't know. Do not know. Anyway, I guess most of my notes will then have to apply to next episode, because the notes that I took can't have applied to this flashback to Akemi's story so far. Except for, you know, the element that I think I questioned Akemi's power, or I don't know, there was something, no, sorry, it was the Walpurgis thing. That we kept seeing the Walpurgis thing happen, implying that I was wrong about the Madoka becoming the Walpurgis thing. However, there was the one timeline where apparently Madoka defeated the Walpurgis and then became something worse. So, wrong about that, but only to such a degree. Anyway, that is going to be it for this episode, I think. There's not much else to say here. Again, I really liked it. Probably going to be somewhere in like my top 3 episodes for the show. You know, of course, depending on what the last 2 episodes come out with. But yeah. So far, I've been Theta. This has been Stoneface Reactions, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?